So today we are going to discuss the very important topic for which we have come to this institute, hearing and chanting. So the foundation of spiritual life is hearing and chanting, because devotional service begins with hearing and chanting. So especially the ninefold process of devotional service begins with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So this is considered to be foundation of our spiritual life. Just like in construction line, it is said 30 to 40% of the time, energy, money goes in building the foundation. Similarly, after coming to spiritual life, after traversing through 84 lakh species of life, Brahmand Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So we have gotten this Bhakti Lata Bij after many lifetimes. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, after getting this Bhakti Lata Bij, Shraddha Bij, we have to water it. So this watering process is called as Sinchan. And in spiritual life, this Sinchan is compared to hearing and chanting. Then slowly, this Bhakti Lata Bij will sprout and become a small creeper. And the more we attentively water it, the more it goes on growing and ultimately reaches the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And then we get the ultimate fruit, that is Krishna Prem. Therefore, it is very important to have solid foundation. Because we are not hearing and chanting properly, then we are committing blunder in our spiritual life. Just like 1 plus 1 becomes 3. Instead of 1 plus 1 becomes 2. Instead of that, we make 3 and go on adding, multiplying, dividing, subtracting. Ultimately, the answer will be wrong. Similarly, whatever we are doing depends on these first 2 steps, hearing and chanting. Because we are not hearing, we will not be able to repeat or chant. So the saying goes, the deaf man is always dumb also, because he has not heard. So in order to become a qualified disciple, first class disciple, the first qualification of a disciple is, sadhaka is, one who hears nicely. So the story comes in life of Srila Prabhupada, when he was introduced by temple president of Allahabad during Kumbh Mela. After Srimad Bhagavatam class discourse, the temple president took Abhay Babu, Srila Prabhupada, to his spiritual master, would be spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and said, "This is Abhay Babu, he wants to take initiation from you." Then what Bhakti Siddhanta was saying? He said, "I know him, because he sits in the front and hears nicely." So there Prabhupada mentions the qualification of a qualified disciple is one who hears nicely. Because everything begins in spiritual life with hearing. So this is the foundation of spiritual life. Why? Because the foundation is not proper, then our building of spiritual life will be collapsed. Because being in the spiritual institute, we are going to hear so many things about sadhu, about scandals, about so many things. And by hearing these things, our faith will be get shaken. But our hearing and chanting is proper, then we will continue our spiritual life. That's why this foundation is very important. So, importance of hearing in our spiritual life. As I said, out of this ninefold process of devotional service, this is the most important activity, hearing and chanting. All other remaining 7 processes depends on these first 2 steps. Because you are not properly hearing, then you are committing blunder in spiritual life. Even though spiritual life is most fortunate, Shubhada, But our misfortune begins by not hearing properly. Because you are not hearing properly about Vaishnavas, you start committing Vaishnava aparad. If you are not hearing properly about spiritual master, you start committing offenses to spiritual master, Guru Avagya. You are not hearing properly about deities, you will start committing aparads towards deities. So all aparadas and arthas begins with inattentive hearing and chanting. So this is the main cause. Even though we have come to spiritual life, but will not be getting the ultimate benefit, which is promised by Sadhu Guru Shastra, Krishna Prem or Kingdom of God. That is only available when you completely focus on this particular activity, hearing and chanting.